I'm Michael. I'm going to be your host for this morning's session. Now, quite a lengthy session, this one, so it might well last the full hour. Quite a bit to get through this morning. And it's all about getting started with Copilot, so explaining what it is, how you access it, and obviously what it can do to just make your life that little bit easier. So that's what we're going to be looking at over the next hour. Now, just before we get stuck into the webinar, usual bit of housekeeping. As usual, you don't need a microphone for these sessions. If you do have one, you will find it's muted automatically. And that just means any questions that you might have for us, you'll need to pop them into the questions panel. The questions panel, to access that, you just click the little speech bubble icon, which is down the right-hand side of your screen. Sorry, apologies if you're picking up loads of background noise. Quite a few webinars going on in the background today. So if you've got any questions, just click the little speech bubble icon. It'll expand the panel. You get access to that box in the bottom corner there. So if you could pop your questions, comments in there, click send. Remember to do that, otherwise I won't see them. And I'll try my best to pick them up as we go. If I'm not sure, what I'll do is I'll just take that away after the session, and I'll drop you an email afterwards. If anyone wants a copy of today's slides, they are available to download. You can do that at any time during the session today. They're not available afterwards, so do take that opportunity. Quite a bit of information on them. Particularly if you're just getting started with it as well, then you'll be able to maybe follow some of that through, just to see what you have access to. As usual though, the session is being recorded. A copy of that email will be included on the follow-up email. There will be a link to our webinar registration page and also a link to our recordings page as well. So watch out for that one. You'll receive that round about an hour after we finish. Right, for Copilot, this is what I'm going to be covering today. So we're going to cover the sort of the basics, the key features that you'll have access to once you start using it. So a bit of an introduction to Sage Copilot itself. We'll run through some demonstrations, again, picking out those key features, the insights, report with Copilot, the detailed analysis, and also payment reminders as well, which is the latest enhancement to Sage Copilot. And then thinking ahead, what's next? What do you want to see going forward? And that might be something you come on to once you've had a bit go of it. Just at the end, I'll explain more about the additional support, and if there are any outstanding questions, we'll come back to those, try and pick them up if there is anything outstanding. But again, I'll try and pick those up as we run through. Just myself running this session with you this morning, so do bear with me if you do submit anything. Right, okay, so let's first of all talk a little bit about accessing Sage Copilot, because not everyone will have access to Sage Copilot. So you need to be in a certain sort of position to be able to do that. First of all, Copilot was released in version 31.1, so you need to be on version 31.1 or above. You can always check your version by going into Help and About within your software. You need to be using what we term the variant, so the level of Sage 50. It needs to be either standard or professional. Currently, Copilot's not available if you're on Essentials or the Client Manager level of the software. So if you're an accountant and using Client Manager, you won't have access to it either. It's not enabled for your license just yet. I believe that's going to be changing soon, but currently not available just yet. And also, you must be based in the UK. So if you're based in the Republic of Ireland, again, currently you will not have access to Sage Copilot. It will not be enabled on your license. Now, your subscription for Sage 50 accounts, if you do have access to that, it will include a single user license. Additional licenses can be added. So that's a little bit up in the air, that one, I believe, at the moment. So I have heard that you may get unlimited licenses going forward, but currently that's not yet, or has not yet been implemented. So currently it's a single user license. Now, there is loads of information about Sage Copilot. We've got a dedicated area within our help center. So it's got all the information to help you get switched on and start using Copilot. And also there'll be information in there on installing the latest update, which currently is version 33. So that was released just before, would have been towards the end of, or the middle of October, I think it was, when that was actually released. So that is available to download. Just need to get onto a help center if you haven't got it already. As normal, we do release new versions with a staggered rollout, just so it doesn't land in everyone's mailbox, or you don't get that message where everyone gets it together and then people can't download it because there's too much load on the servers, etc., to try and get hold of that. But if you do want it, head along to our help center and you can do that. Ideally, obviously, if you're using Copilot, you would want to be on the latest version so that you've got all of the various features. I'll point out some of those features along the way as well as to what is available in what variant of the software, or what version of the software. Just to confirm that, so if you are wanting to gain access to the Copilot area, if I just share my screen very quickly, I'll bring up my browser. I'll just head along to sage.co.uk/help. It will take you to this page. So on the I'm a Customer tab, you've got the option for Sage 50 accounts. We just access that. And then if I scroll down, now Sage Copilot on the screenshot, it was in the upper right corner. It's now been removed. But you've now got this option for Sage Copilot. And if you just click into that, as I say, you've got the options there for, you've got the introduction, you've got the option to guide you through that process of activating it, and also how you go about logging into your Sage account using Sage Copilot, which primarily what we're going to look at today. And obviously that will include Report with Copilot and the automated payment reminders. So do check that out if you are interested. Right, let's close out of that, back to my desktop, and we'll head back to the slides for a moment. If I can find the right button, there we go. Right, so as I say, sage.co.uk/help. That will get you up and running. Now, as I mentioned, Sage Copilot originally was introduced in version 31.1. And with that, we introduced what we term the Copilot Insights. Now, it's probably the option that you're going to be most aware of when you start using Copilot. Now, on your toolbars, and it's available in 5 different ledgers, the Insights, you will have it within customers, suppliers, the products and services ledger, in nominal codes, and also your transactions list as well. It'll be an additional icon just on your toolbar. Now, it will either be called Copilot Insights, or if you're on version 33, it will now just be called Sage Copilot. Gets you into this, essentially the same option. Now, try and think of your Copilot Insights as more of a digital assistant. It's going to provide top-level information for you. And you can have a go of these if you are on version 33. You don't necessarily need to activate Copilot. I'll quickly show you this one in version 33 before we get stuck into the Copilot Insights themselves. So basically, if you're on version 33, so if you want to have a sort of almost like a play around with Copilot and see what it does have to offer without actually fully activating it within your software, you can do that in version 33. You need to be on the latest update for that one. So I'll just quickly share my screen. This is my version 33. I'm going to go into a company that isn't flagged for being connected. So I've not connected to any. I've not connected to Copilot already. So we'll just go into this one that I've got. When you log into it, so we'll just open that one. Just log in. So what you'll now get when you go into your company, if you're not connected to Copilot, you will get this option to either activate it, or you can go into trial mode. So you can continue a trial, or you can end that trial. So you'll be prompted. It means that you can give it a go without having to go through the rigmarole of then sort of, once you've set that up, then sort of giving everyone an email address and all of that, the process that's involved in setting it up fully. So it means you can have a go of that, and you can try the features that we're going to be looking at in today's session. Now, the Copilot Insights, so we're just going to customers as an example. Copilot Insights, you'll find these icons on the end of the various ledgers. We're going to come back to those in just a few minutes. I'll switch back to the slides for the time being. So remember those 5 ledgers. Once you enable it, you can get into those 5 ledgers, and you've got that icon on the end. Now, the Copilot Insights themselves, they concentrate on a number of key themes, the key themes that most people are concerned about. So things like debt management, it's always a key theme that helping you to make sure that you get paid and you get paid on time. Inventory management, so managing your stock levels, making sure that you've got the stock to sort of meet your requirements. Business performance, so things like profitability. Anomaly detection always goes down really well when we introduce anything that helps to either spot those mistakes or even avoid mistakes. So anomaly detection will look at your data, your transactions, and based on your historic information, it's going to try and find, well, is anything unusual here? Have you just keyed something in incorrectly? I'll show you a demo of that one in a moment. I'm not going to run through all of them. I'm not going to run a demo on every single one of them, but we'll run through one of them. And I think probably anomaly detection, because we'll be touching on some of the others a little bit later on. And then, of course, reporting analysis. So providing you with top level information and making it easy to get at that. So what we'll do, we'll start having a look at it and see it in action. We'll run through a demo in just a couple of minutes. Just to quickly run through those themes, though, those things like debt management. So when you access Copilot via the icons within the various ledgers, you'll get a panel. Now, the panel is going to be similar to a bit like when you open access the online help that's available with Sage. You get the panel down the right-hand side of your screen, and depending which ledger you're in, it will provide insights into key information. So, for instance, debt management available from within your customer's ledger. Now, with this, it's going to allow you to easily access things like overdue information, those invoices due within the next 7 days, and it enables you to drill down into information like that as well. You can send statements individually, send them as a batch. You can also add reminders as well, so integrating with the Sage 50 Accounts Diary functionality. For inventory management, available within products and services, it's got 3 types of checks, and the more I suppose when you initially start using it, you might find there's products and services that fall into each of those categories. So the 3 categories: items that are out of stock, items that are low on stock, and also items that are likely to be out of stock soon. So likely to be out of stock soon, it's going to look at your sort of daily sales quantities and say, right, what's the average, or what's the daily sale on average? Quantity wise, do I have enough to support that over the next 30 days? So that's its basic calculation as it stands. And the idea of this, it just enables you to take timely action to maintain those stock levels. Obviously, the more you access this, the more sort of, I suppose, proactive it's going to be. When you first start using it, you might find you a bit more of a reactive position where it highlights quite a few items that are out of stock. But the idea is you'll again access it regularly, and you'll spot those potential scenarios a little bit earlier on in that product cycle. Now, if you are on the professional level of the software, that will then seamlessly integrate to the purchase orders ledger. So you can generate a purchase order just with a few clicks. And of course, if not, or maybe you just want to generate your order separately, you will have the option to either print that list or export it to Excel. Business performance available in a number of, or I suppose that theme, it comes through in a number of different insights. So normal codes, customer suppliers, enables you to view things like profit for month-on-month progression, year-on-year comparisons as well. You'll be able to drill down on the options. So again, it will provide you with top-level information, but if you do want it, you can drill down. So you can click the various options, and a bit like your management reports in the past, where it's provided you with, like a top-level sales figure on your profit and loss. Again, you can, if you preview it, you can drill down, get all the way down to transaction level if necessary. You have a similar sort of options available. So the idea is going to, again, highlight key information that if you do wish to, you can go into the detail if required. Anomaly detection. I've got a little video I'm going to play on this one in just a moment. It's available within transactions. It's going to highlight unusual activity. So that's going to be based on what you've entered historically. So the more data you have, the more likely it is going to find something that's a bit unusual. So it's going to look for things like transaction with unexpected nominal codes, unexpected tax codes, transaction amounts, VAT amounts. Now, it might be that when you enter a transaction, actually, it's right. It's just a one-off. It's a bit unusual because it's a one-off. Capital expenditure, for instance. You're not going to do that regularly. So if it's your first time doing it within Sage as well, again, it might find that. So you will have the options to sort of review the transaction. You can then correct it, or just, actually, it's right. I just want to ignore it. So it is unusual because it's not a regular transaction. So what I'll do for this one, I'm going to play a little video just so you can see this sort of insight in action. So we'll set that one going. If I can find the right one, there we go. And I'll come back to you live in just a couple of minutes.
The Copilot Insight for Anomaly Detection is all about helping you to improve and maintain the accuracy of your data. We all know it's easy to make a mistake, such as specifying the wrong tax code for a transaction, so anything that helps has got to be positive. The insight helps to identify potential issues, and to keep things simple and streamlined, enables you to easily edit the transaction and make corrections there and then. The Copilot Insight is accessed from the Transactions ledger. Insights are grouped into nominal codes, tax codes, and amounts. Check tax codes shows the number of transactions where the tax codes are different to the usual ones that have been used on the account in the past. Clicking transactions with unexpected tax codes lists the relevant transactions. If you're working in a specific period, you can easily narrow down the date range by applying a filter rather than working on the default group covering the last 12 months. You can even apply a filter so only specific transaction types appear. You can search within the results and also have the flexibility of exporting the list, for example, if you prefer working in Excel. Each transaction shows the current details and the suggested correction. For added flexibility and speed, you can then action changes there and then. Edit brings up the familiar Edit Transaction window, so if required, you can make the correction there and then. If you've already corrected it outside of the Copilot Insight, simply flag it. Then finally, when a correction isn't required, for example, you've posted a transaction which is a one-off and it's picked up as an anomaly, you can flag to ignore it. As transactions are flagged, they'll be moved to the appropriate tab. If you're a bit too quick and accidentally ignore a transaction, then don't worry, this can easily be undone. The main list can also easily be refreshed at any time, meaning you can quickly ensure you're up to date if other users are currently processing before you close out.
So hopefully that's given you a little bit of an insight into, I suppose, the look and feel of the insights themselves. So again, once you start using it, if you've downloaded the slides or you've referred to the help center, have a go of these options. It's gone down really well, the anomaly detection one so far. The final one I want to quickly mention was the reporting analysis. So a lot of reporting information available. This has been improved even further with extra enhancements since the original release. So we'll be coming back to this one, the one available within nominal codes, a little bit later on in the session. But again, it gets you, you would just go into the Copilot Insight and click the relevant option and off you go. It'll just guide you through that process. So that's the initial Copilot Insights. You've seen it in action. You've seen one of them. Again, I'll just quickly pop back to my desktop so you've got that. You can see that sort of look and feel for it. Now you'll see Copilot mentioned in a few different areas. Now this is this is a company I've already got connected fully to Copilot. If you're on version 33, you'll get this bar at the top once you are active with Copilot. If not, you'll get the coloured bar on version 33 saying, do you want to activate it now? Obviously, be prompted on the way in as well. Version 33 introduced the little, what we term the Copilot sparkle next to the various options as well. So you can see the ledgers where Copilot is available. I want to quickly mention, I sort of picked up on this a little bit earlier as well. If I just go into customers as an example, it does mention Sage Copilot here. If you want an earlier version from version 33, then that is going to say Copilot Insights. So the icon has been renamed on the more recent version. And that would also, when you go into reports within any of your ledgers, rather than being called Report with Copilot, if you're on version 33, again, it will just say Sage Copilot. We'll be coming back to Report with Copilot in a moment. Additionally, if you're on version 33, you will also gain access to the automated payment reminders functionality within it. So quite a few extra enhancements to Copilot, including that option to give it a try in version 33. So just going back to customers as an example, so we got Sage Copilot. So to access the insight, you would just give it a click on your toolbar. Now remember, again, you've got that single user license initially, so it will be allocated to the manager logon. You can reallocate that to a different user if required, but by default, it is a single user license that you would be provided with. So the Copilot Insight just appears down the right-hand side. Obviously, you can drag that, you can resize it. I've got quite a low resolution on my monitor. We always do that for these webinars. So it's quite a bit of scrolling up and down when I want to see the information that's there. We'll come back to this one a little bit later on though. For now, we'll head back to the slides. We're going to move on. So version 32. So we talked about insights. Insights are available initially for version 31.1. When we released version 32, so 32.0, two enhancements. The first one was Report with Copilot. So the ability to design your own reports. A lot of the requests we get from users contacting our support team are for very, almost like very simple listing type reports. I want a list of transactions that meets this criteria. And what we introduced was the ability to the report with Copilot option. It enables you to create reports, so you can pop in your request. What do you want it to show? just by typing in a message. And the software will try and create that report for you. It might ask you additional questions, but the reports are based around your audit trail summary. Your audit trail summary being your transactions list. So you can't base it around sort of customer record information or bank account information. It's all to do with that transactions list. Now it will essentially generate the report for you. And this is what a lot of the queries we do get on our support line will basically end up being, just a list of transactions. So to sort of get around that, this is why Report with Copilot was originally introduced. Now it was enhanced later on from that, enabling you to group information as well. So we'll have a quick look at it rather than me just talking about it, see if we can get it working, see if we can give you a demo of what that looks like. So we'll go back to my screen. Now you can access Report with Copilot from any ledger, doesn't matter which one, any ledger that has a reports option within it. Or even I went into invoices and credits, you could click into reports, sorry, and then you've got that Sage Copilot or Report with Copilot, depending what version you're on. So we give it a click, and it will open up this panel for us. Gives you a bit of an introduction here, so tells you what the kind of things that you could look for, including grouping. And I just click into the message box and I'll just start typing. So let's say I'm after all transactions not using T1 tax code. So we'll start with that. Now I could be specific, I could say all, and I could maybe request a certain transaction types. In fact, we'll do that. We'll do all BP transactions, see if we can work out exactly what I'm after. So I'll just click send. My fingers crossed now that I've actually got some not using T1. So what a specific time period? So it's coming back and asking me for more information. I'll put dated in 2025. The more you use this, the more likely you are to going to get directly at the information you want. I'll just put or show all transaction details. Just my luck, it hasn't found anything today. So what that's going to do, I'll just, rather than keep going with that one, I'll just give you an example. So it'll go through and it'll essentially generate that report for you. So it'll create the report design. Now, because it's based around transactions, it'll save it into the transactions area. So I'll go into transactions and then into reports. And as usual, when you create a new report or you edit one and you do a sort of a save as, it'll default to the sort of the My Reports folder. So because this is a transaction one, it saves it to the My Transaction Reports area. So we've got some that I've done previously. I tend to just put the date on when I'm creating them. So it generates that report and it saves it as a standard Sage report. Obviously, you can change the name, the description, and if you wanted to, you could even start, you could highlight the report and you could edit it if you wanted to. It would open it up in the report designer. So it's got I suppose, the key design there already for you. So this one is a list of sales invoices. I might avoid that one because I'm not sure I've got any transactions I did for the last month. We'll just go for let's go for that one. I'll just preview one. And I'll run it for all time. And this is essentially the type of report it can do. It's still a listing type report. You can add grouping in there. Grouping is available in 32.1. So 32 would give you access to the basic listing style report. 32.1, the enhancement was you could then group information together. So rather than just a list of all invoices that meet the criteria, it could group it together. So I could get a list of customers and it would list their invoices, almost like an activity style report. But again, if I needed to, I could highlight that report, I could go and edit that, make whatever changes I wanted to it, assuming you're familiar with Report Designer, of course. Otherwise, I could just go back into Sage Copilot at the top there while I'm in reports, and I could start again. I could start asking for additional information and additional report. No limit to the number of reports that you can generate in there either. So again, that's give it a go. I've included, if I just go back to the slides, I have included a couple of examples that you might want to try. So have a go of that if you are either in the trial mode, if you're on version 33, or if you are using Sage Copilot already, you've activated it. Again, give it a go within your software. Right. Now, also in 32.1, we developed the Copilot Insight within the nominal codes area. It was all around about having a detailed analysis of your management reports. So this was again available in 32.1. So you do need to be on obviously that version, or 33. It's in there as well, and it's more of what I would term I think everywhere you read it's an easy to read format, but it's more of I suppose a commentary style analysis on your profit and loss in your balance sheet. So let's have a quick look at that within the software. Rather than me just trying to explain what it looks like, we'll have a look at it. So we'll pop into nominal codes, access Sage Copilot. Now, initially, when we looked at the slides earlier, it was just this top bit that you would have available if you want 31.1, the original Copilot Insight. But you've now got this option. So we just click Analyze Profit and Loss. It's asking you what criteria you want to run that for. So the financial year on this set of data that I'm using is still based around 2025. But let's say we run it for the full financial year. Just confirm that we want to do that. So it's going to run through, it's going to extract your data that it needs, so essentially running the report in the background, and then it will perform that analysis on that as well. So this is what it's come up with. So again, it's more of rather just I suppose, a traditional accounting report. It's more based around sort of, I suppose, your business advice. So it's saying it's sort of strengths, weaknesses, telling me in this case on this data that I'm using, it's got a high return on sales. It's got a robust gross margin. It'll then pick up any weaknesses as well, and then obviously comes up with a conclusion. So again, almost like highlighting key information. Then if you do want that, obviously you can start running additional reports to get at the detail should you need it. Right, let's quickly head back to the slides. So I mentioned 32.1, report with Copilot, you have the ability to group, would add in subtotals for you as well when you're designing those reports. The additional option, and probably I suppose the headline feature for 32.1 is payment reminders. Now, you can send out payment reminders in one of two ways. You can send them manually, so you can pick and choose what you want to send, but you can also automate that task. And I suppose automating the task is where the big benefit is. But I'm going to show you, even if you're just doing it manually, makes it much easier to manage that. So let's get back to my screen, and we'll go into customers. We'll access Sage Copilot. Just let that process for a moment. And then what we're after I'll just show you what other information is in the Customers Copilot Insights. So you've got your customers' insights themselves, so you can see sort of the monthly checks. It's going to compare the current month to date. You can see last month to date. You can view your breakdown. So if we just click into it, for instance. And if I just scroll back up so you can see that, then it's going to show you your breakdown. Not much information in mind for the month of December or January for that matter. But again, it would pick up that top level information, and you can, if you wanted to, you could get onto a transactional profit and loss. You can view your profit as a chart. You can see invoice trends, credit notes, etc. So nice and easy to get at that information if you want it. I'm going to go back to the main insights window that we first accessed when we went into Copilot Insights. And I want to pick up on this debt management. So this is where you'll find your automated payment reminders option. So we click into debt management. Now these sort of help boxes that pop up, so provide you a little bit of information here and there. I think when you first see it, I always think it's a little bit disjointed. I keep getting these messages pop up. So remember, you've got the little tick box. You want to get rid of that. You get a similar option if anyone uses bank feeds. I always think the bank feeds makes the process look a little bit disjointed if you leave those switched on. But I would encourage you, have a look at them, see the information it provides. In my case, I'll leave it switched on for my next demo. Continue. And when you go in, it's going to give you top level information. So total overdue, what's upcoming in the next 31 days. And the bottom part of your screen here is your overdue and what's upcoming. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to quickly close out. You'll see there's nothing upcoming currently. So I'm just going to quickly close out. We'll go into invoices and credits, and we're going to pop an invoice on there. So we'll just choose A1 this A1 design. I'm going to pop that back to, we'll see the 1st of January. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, right, I want this to be, payable sort of within the next 7 days, just so I can show the demo. So we'll do the 20th of January. We're going to say that's when it's due. We'll quickly pop an item on there. Doesn't really matter what it is. And I'll just save it. Now at that stage, it's not going to be picked up by the Copilot Insight. So Copilot Insight is going to look at the transactions against the actual customer accounts, for instance. So it's going to look at the individual transactions. So I'm going to highlight this one. I need to make sure I've updated it to the ledgers so that it will then be picked up. So we'll just preview it. Just make sure it updates, which it has. I'll click close. And then if we go back to customers, and back into Sage Copilot, and back into debt management. So we'll now see on the upcoming tab that we do have one. You can see it's 5 days until this one is now due. So the idea of this, it's not just going to necessarily identify information once it's overdue, it then highlights it. It's going to sort of help you be a little bit more proactive. So it's going to identify those that are coming up. Now from here, I've got various links, so it'll identify it. I can see it's for this customer. Again, the links as you'd expect. So if I click that link, it takes me into the customer record. If I click this one, it refers to the transaction number itself. So it takes me to the transaction detail. So I can see the audit trail transaction information. I've got other bits of information as well. I can see it's invoice, in this case, it's number 87. Obviously that will half depend, or will depend on your update ledger settings. You might have, for whatever reason, you might have changed it so that other information is updated to the reference when you choose the update ledgers. But most commonly, you're going to have the invoice number there. We can see what's outstanding. We can see a chase status where it says currently no reminders sent. If any action has been taken, we can view that chase history. It's blank at the moment. And then we can also pop into actions. So for this one, what do we want to do? We can compose a reminder email. We can generate a statement. Or you can just say, oh, actually, remind me about this one later on. So let's choose to compose a reminder email. It will launch this window, and this is a very similar window to the automated option as well. So it will generate essentially an email for you. So a lot of the information is already pre-populated. You've got it set so it will pick up the email address from the customer's accounts. You've got options to pop a CC address in, a BCC address. You've got a subject line which is going to be generated automatically on the email. So in this case, it's going to say word invoice. It'll pull through the invoice reference, and it's going to say it's due on, and then it'll pull through the due date automatically for you. You can change those if required. Just click in the box and start amending information. If you are wanting to amend it and pull other information through into these sort of fields, you can say, well, I want to show the data fields, and it'll give you a list of what's available. Switch that off for the time being. You've got your option to draft a different email. So you might think, well, the due reminder, actually, I want a shorter one or a longer one or just medium. I can draft that with Copilot and get Copilot to reword it slightly. So we'll choose your options. But there is a sort of a preset email already done for you from people that I've spoken to so far that are using this. You tend to find it's absolutely fine. So again, it's got certain fields in here. If you want to rename it, again, just click into it. So we've got a line there. We hope this message finds you well. If you want to change wording like that or add your other wording in, you can do that. You just click and you can start typing. You've got access to the additional fields as well. So if for whatever reason, let's say I wanted to pop in the company name, just wherever the cursor is, I would just click the appropriate field and it pops that field in there for me. And when I generate the email, obviously it'll just pull the relevant information through for me. Just knock that one back out. So you've got up to 4,000 characters for that as well, which is quite lengthy for an email, particularly when you're just chasing it. It's not even hit the due date yet. You can choose when you send it, but it is all manually done at this stage. You've got an option to add the entry to the customer communications. So within the communications tab of the customer record, if I was to send this, essentially it'll document that to say, right, that's been sent. And then other than that, I would just click send. Now you will find that probably the vast majority you will probably work with Outlook. So that's nice and easy. And essentially what we've got now on the upcoming tab is we can see the chase status being updated to the due reminder, the chase history. If I just click on that, I can see the date and time of when that was sent and what was sent. Obviously, as it progresses through that process, if it becomes overdue and I send additional reminders, legal threats, etc., it'll keep updating that chase history for that specific entry. But that's all good and well doing it manually. Just make it a little bit easier than working within the software itself, I think. But you've got an option to automate that process. Now you've got an option here, manage layouts. And all that means is that when you're working and sending out these emails, you can choose your layouts. So with that email that we just sent, it would use this specific layout. It would attach a copy of the invoice itself. Now the difference between an invoice layout and a customer statement layout Obviously, you can send a statement, that's no problem. But you do have the option when you send an email, what the software will do, it will look at your invoices list and it will say, right, well, was it in this one? 86 as an example. So it will look for invoice 86 on the list. And if 86 does exist, which you would expect it to, unless for whatever reason, someone's gone in and highlighted it and deleted it from that list. Probably a bit unusual if someone's done that. But if it does exist, it will initially use your invoice layout. So it sends them a copy of the invoice itself using whatever layout you've chosen. Obviously, you just browse and you would, just as normal, you would choose whatever layout you want to use. Similar for statements as well, you can specify that. If the invoice doesn't exist, what it will do, it will refer or defer across and use a statement layout instead. So that will be the attachment that's used instead of the actual invoice, but only in that sort of instance where that invoice no longer exists on the invoicing list. So make sure you have specified your layouts. Now we come on to the automated side of things, and this is for me, this is the time-saving element. Makes it easy, this, just to do it manually and send out emails, etc. But this is the time-saving element, the bit you'll probably want to use. So if I go into manage automated reminders, and you've got similar options. We've got 4 different levels of sort of email, I suppose. So we've got a upcoming. We can say, right, we want to send this specific one, and we can change that criteria as well. So you might want to send it nearer the time, you might want to send it a little bit earlier in that sort of cycle. Just as a reminder, your invoice is due in the next 7 days, or payment is due in the next 7 days. Similar for overdue, warning letters, and then legal action. So I suppose the wording of it, the severity of that wording, it will change as you go through that cycle. For each of them, you can choose which ones you want to switch on, and also you can customize those templates as well. So it's very similar to what we just looked at a few moments ago when we're sending it manually. The bit that's different is this bit here, the reminder rules. So in this case, it's saying, right, for the reminder email, I want to generate those 7 days before it's due. You've got a little bit of criteria as well. So you might think, well, actually, we don't send out emails when it's below a certain value. But by default, it would be 0. So anything that's outstanding, it would send that reminder email for you. And then you also get the option to change the customer status once that's been sent. If you've not come across the customer record status before, there is a recorded email on our list of recordings available, which covers that in a bit more detail. It should be in the credit control area. But if needed, you can set up these the list of status yourself and what you can do when an account is set to with a certain status. But in this case, I've just said, oh, do nothing. I don't want to change that at this stage. But the rest of it is exactly the same. I designed the email. We've got the subject line in there, can see what information is being included, and then I would just save and close that. Now, one thing to be aware of when you're using the automated payment reminders, you will need to set up and use SMTP settings for your emails. So it won't integrate with your local email. You will need to know what those SMTP settings are. It will use the data service to essentially generate those emails for you and send them. So it won't go via just your local. If you're using a desktop version of Outlook, it won't use that for the automated payment reminders. But again, there will be information on how you go about configuring that, what your SMTP settings would be. You will find out within the Help Center itself. So it's just a case of switching the relevant ones on, configuring your templates accordingly, setting the relevant criteria as to when you want them to be sent, and saving that, and that's essentially it done. So if that forms a big part of your role, imagine not really having to do that anymore. it would just do it automatically. One thing I would point out in the manage schedule settings is by default, I've changed this myself from previous webinars, is that it will generate the emails automatically at a certain time. So by default, it will run that schedule on a daily basis. You can choose, if you just wanted it to happen on a Friday or on a monthly basis, you can do that. But more likely, you might want to probably do it on a daily basis, and you can say, right, I want to do it at a certain time of day. Or, sorry, not I want to do it, I would like it to happen automatically at a certain point of the day. So you can set that time as well. It will be, I think it's 1 o'clock in the morning by default. Something to be aware of. If your customers have got their phone switched on and emails ping through, do you want to wake them up at 1 o'clock in the morning to remind them to pay you? Up to you. So you can change that time if you want. You can also, if you just set that up as well, you can do a manual option to run it there and then as well. And of course, if you start using it and think, actually, I don't want to do that anymore, I want to disable the automated reminders, you can do that as well. So again, give it a go. So that's automated payment reminders in a nutshell. It's a case of have a go of it once you're up and running. So we covered I suppose the key and the highlight benefits of using Sage Copilot today. It's got done really well for those that are currently using it. Loads of positive feedback. It's something that you can get involved in with feedback, though. We always encourage this with, in fact, just with your software in general. If you've got any feedback, you can submit that to us via our ideas portal. Nice and easy to access. I've included a link for you, but the easiest way to have your say and get involved is to submit them via the software. Just quickly share that and I'll quickly show you how you can access this. So the ideas portal is something you can access at any time. All you would do within your software, you go to the home page at the top, so top option on the left there. Scroll down a little bit might depend on your resolution and the size of your monitor, but scroll down to where it says roadmap, so bottom left, give it a click. It'll bring up this web page for you. So this is where the roadmap is where you can keep up to date with feature availability. So give you an idea, you just click through and see sort of what features you should have depending on your version. A bit of a timeline as well. Maybe check through, just have you missed anything? Or what's coming next, and also what we're working on in the future. But this bit here is where you can have your say, so you can submit your thoughts around the software, your ideas. How would you like something to work? We've got an option to add a new idea. We can do that. You can see recent ones, you can see trending, you can see popular ones. So popular ones, for instance, you should have that in the software now. The ability to add attachments to just about all transaction types and record types. This one hasn't been included yet. Always a popular one. You can vote on them as well, and you can add your weight behind it. So the ability to amend customer and supplier account references. So again, if you want to get involved, submit your ideas. It can be as big or as little. Obviously, something very, very minor could be like, I need more characters in a certain field. But it could be a big feature change that you come up with that idea and you report in Sage. So do get involved, let us know, share your thoughts and ideas with us. So just to confirm how you got to that page, it was just into home, scroll down, access the roadmap, and then as you scroll down, you've got this option, have your say. Just click the option, it'll take you to the relevant web page. You can also access that via the community hub as well. So it was 31.1 when Copilot was first released. The features that have been added in so far all based around feedback that we've received from our users. Right, let's quickly head back to the slides for a moment. If you've got any of those final questions, if you want to pop them in there now, give you a chance to do that. If you think of any afterwards, do get in touch. You can always reply to any of the webinar emails. That will either be directed back to myself directly or possibly to our team mailbox, and I would pick that up for you anyway. So if you think of anything, do get in touch. Remember, you will receive a follow-up email in round about an hour's time. That will include the link to today's recording, a link to our registration page. Our timetable currently runs up to the end of February for our live sessions. Do check those out. And of course, we've got our link to our recordings page as well. So do watch out for that. In the handout, if you've downloaded it, I've included some information for our community hub. So it's basically our online forum. It's free to join, free to take part. There's over getting on for nearly 9,000 accounts professionals which have been connected on there now. Obviously, you can ask questions, you can answer questions as well and offer basic advice. It doesn't have to be around your software. There are forum boards within there on a whole manner of topics. So if you just want some general business advice from peers, you can get that. So do check that out as well. I've also included details of a recent survey that we're currently running. If you get a chance, if you downloaded the handout or if you've got your phone handy, take a screenshot of that QR code. It's 2 questions. So this is a non-product related survey, so nothing to do with Sage software. What do you want to learn about? What would help you in your business? What format would you like that sort of learning to be delivered in as well? So if you do get a chance, if you can complete that 2-question survey, there is a separate survey which will pop up, the usual one, as you leave today's session. So again, if you can take a minute to complete that, share your thoughts, any ideas, etc., what you thought about the webinar, how we can improve it. So if you can take a minute to complete that one, always appreciated. And that follow-up email will be with you in around about an hour's time. Right, so we're just about coming up to the hour. I don't have any outstanding questions at that point. Remember, if you do think of anything, get in touch. Reply to any of the webinar emails. It'll find its way to myself one way or another. And I think we'll just end the webinar just at that point. So many thanks for coming along. And hopefully I'll see you on some of the other webinars very soon. Many thanks.